reveals who is the most powerful mortal in Universe 7. After the great battle that Goku and Vegeta had against Granola and Gas, things got much more complicated from the moment that Gas asked the dragons of the Dragon Balls of his universe to become a much more powerful, the most powerful warrior in the universe. This meant that even Vegeta and Goku, with their incredible powers of Ultra Ego and Ultra Instinct, could not be able to defeat the one who had once fought even Bardock as a child. Things started to get much more intense when Goku and Vegeta were fully expending their energy and at the same time getting stronger to defeat the enemy. Even so, they needed to team up with Granola so that Granola could resolve the situation and launch a final blow on Gas. Even with all those attacks combined, he wasn't able to defeat Gas. It was not enough. Gas still continued to get stronger until the moment Frieza appeared again on that planet, and Frieza showed the power of Black Frieza, showing that he had surpassed both Goku and his instinct and Vegeta with his Ultra Ego. Black Frieza's powers was entirely different, as Frieza had already become the most powerful being in the universe because he wasn't training in Universe 7. He was training in an empty dimension that was not part of that universe. At that moment, we can see the power discrepancy between Frieza and everyone. Frieza ended up eliminating Gas with extremely high ease. However, still, when all that was over, Goku and Vegeta continued their training alongside Whis and questioned Whis. Frieza was the most powerful mortal in the universe, and Whis began to smile, saying that there was no such thing. There was another mortal who was the most powerful. At that moment, everyone began to wonder, who would be this one powerful being? Hey, how's it going? Just here to remind you to click the like button, subscribe here to the channel so you don't miss any videos, and stay well inside our entire universe of Dragon Ball. Without further ado, let's get started. For a long time, everyone began to question who could be that mortal who is the most powerful of all. Or would it be the prodigy who could raise his strength more and more and make things start to happen in a different way? Several questions began to be created, and thoughts also began to occur in the midst of all this. After all, who could show a power as high as Goku and Vegeta? Except Frieza, of course. Who could raise their abilities, making everyone start to wonder who could get so powerful? For a long time after all this happened, the Earth again experienced great difficulties. It seems that Goku and Vegeta already imagined that a battle would take place. But at the same time, they needed to get stronger for the training they were carrying out directly on the planet of the God of Destruction. At that moment, Goku and Vegeta brought Broly to fight, or at least to look at their training, since Beerus was enraged with everything that was happening. Beerus says, "Hey, how dare you bring that Saiyan here?" Again. "Hey, how dare you bring that Saiyan here? I did not authorize you to do this." Goku starts watching and says, "Yeah, it's because Frieza is back here in this universe. So Frieza might want to take Broly and dominate his hand, you know? Just like he did earlier, causing Broly to start attacking everything and destroying all of his universes. This would happen and cause a major imbalance to start happening." At that moment, Beerus looks up and says, "I couldn't care less what Broly would or wouldn't do. The decisions are totally different. You cannot want to interfere in the decision of a universe, or whether or not you want to think of something as if you are gods of destruction. I would never accept those things you want to do." At that moment, Goku begins to reflect and have a completely different thought. Broly begins to observe Goku and Vegeta's fight and ends up even being surprised by the level of power that the two ended up reaching, and realized that they were actually much stronger than when they fought in the first time. But Broly starts to get excited, knowing that he can also get stronger by increasing his powers even more. Broly is an extremely powerful being, as you know. In fact, Goku has already compared him once even with the God of Destruction himself, saying that Broly would even be stronger than Beerus. But even though Goku never saw the real power of Beerus, if only to deduce what the strength over him was, Broly still increased his strength even more and had extremely high potential. But when we talk about potential, there is still another hybrid Saiyan who manages to raise his power, and in his fury, his moment of rage surpassed even Goku and Vegeta's powers. This Saiyan would be nothing less than Son Gohan. Whis had already noticed in his future vision that Gohan would fight against Cell Max, that Ultimate Gohan would reach a form never seen before. It was this form that Gohan began to train for a long time after he no longer wanted to transform into a Super Saiyan. a form in which his hair turned white, his eyes red, and his energy combined the power of Ultra Instinct with the power of Ultra Ego. This transformation was the transformation that even Goku and Vegeta could fight together, a power that transcended anything beyond comprehension. This is the power of Son Gohan, the son of Son Goku. At that moment, Goku still didn't know that Gohan had reached that power and that Vegeta was also able to increase his strength even more with the Saiyans among themselves. They still didn't know the difference in each one's abilities. There was a time when Saiyans only had the same transformation according to the evolution of each one with their body. We could see that each one reached a totally different level. Gohan reached his beast form, Broly reaching his berserker form, Goku reaching his Ultra Instinct power, and Vegeta his Ultra Ego. That way, each Saiyan raised a force in a different way. One of them could be more powerful Saiyan than would surpass Black Frieza himself. But that is a question that only time will tell. So hey, what do you believe and what do you imagine about all of this? Is Gohan the being who surpassed Black Frieza? Broly with his power would be more powerful, or even Goku and Vegeta? Are Goku and Vegeta the ones who ended up surpassing Frieza with new training?
After Beerus' death, Whis and Goku are about to face Dark Goku, Dark Vegeta, and Dark Piccolo. Ready for the battle, Goku and Whis begin to concentrate. We are finally about to witness one of the greatest battles ever fought. Goku is in battle position and he's the first to leave. At that moment, Goku raises his ki and flies to the sky, and then Goku leaves upon the corrupted warriors. At that moment, Gohan takes the lead of the other warriors and goes against Goku. They begin to exchange incredible blows. Gohan uses his speed to attack Goku, throwing several punches and kicks. Goku manages to defend himself despite being a little tired. After a few minutes between Goku and Gohan's battle, Goku becomes enraged and transforms into his Goku form. The battle starts to get tense. Neither one of them backs down, nor one of them leaves a gap. At that time, Goku Omni takes distance and unleashes a sphere of ki. Gohan, upon receiving the impact of that blow, begins to slowly fall from the sky. After Gohan's downfall, Goku says, "That is all your power? I could easily end us all." Goku, who's out of breath and tired, had already fought before and saw his comrade die in front of him, doesn't look back and continues to say, come on, I really want to defeat you, Dark Goku." And then we see Piccolo with his arms crossed and saying, "Get ready. Here will be your tomb and all of your warriors." With a ton of arrogance and irony, Dark Piccolo continues with his arms crossed. And at that time, we see Piccolo raise only a single arm, and with his hand closed and only one finger pointed at the opponent, he fires an extremely different ki. This ki had a reddish color and had small rays in it, and it was like a small sphere. After releasing his ki towards Goku, Piccolo says, "Now die!" At that moment, the strangely abused ki hits Goku like shockwaves. Goku feels his entire body being electrocuted. Goku starts to fall from the sky too quickly. He recovers and uses his teleportation to go in front of Piccolo. And then as he approached, Goku Omni is face to face to Piccolo. It was so unexpected that Piccolo got a fright. His face changes after Goku from close range fired a wave of energy into his chest. Yet another Dark Warrior has just fallen. Piccolo dies, leaving only Dark Vegeta in Dark Goku. We can see that Goku is almost out of strength to continue the battle, and then Goku says, "Now it's just the two of you. Get ready to fight." Goku barely manages to stand up but still doesn't give up. So Vegeta says, "Why do I have to finish this worm? He's already almost dead. It would be a complete waste of time. But since there's no other way, I'm going." At that moment, when Dark Vegeta was going after Goku, Dark Vegeta with his speed is reaching Goku, but at the same time, something interrupts him. Whis enter in front of him, and with a single blow of his staff knocks Vegeta down and says, "I'm just returning the favor you did me." So at that time, another warrior has just fallen, and Whis says to Goku, "Lord Goku, get some rest now. It's my turn to fight. Thanks for clearing the path for me." Whis, with a smile on his face, continues to say, "Lord Goku, don't you dare to die until I come back to heal you." Goku then responds, "Mr. Whis, when What else are you going to do? He's too strong. Whis continues to speak. I know, Lord Goku, but I'm already an angel without a master. So I will do my best to defeat this dark version of you. You're not like Lord Daishikan to be able to save yourself. Then Dark Goku starts to say, you tend to fight me or keep chatting there. Whis then speaks. It's my turn to fight, and I will defeat you and offer Mr. Beerus victory. Goku then descends to the ground and he lies down, tired and panting with multiple bruises. Whis then in battle position readies to fight, starts going to Dark Goku, who is waiting for him as if nothing is happening. Whis starts to spin his staff, creating a wave of wind, and as he approaches Dark Goku, he shoots that gust of wind. Dark Goku starts laughing. At that time, he says, you came here to cool me down? I can't believe you're going to die like this. Angels don't have that much power. They are the most powerful in the universe, and I want to see. Show your strength! Whis is silent for a moment and begins to focus all his energy. Whis begins to emanate a white and silent aura as if he was at peace. In a matter of seconds, Whis disappears. It is no longer there. Whis is now in front of Dark Goku, starting to give several blows. He starts throwing punches with absurd power. Whis' punches were so powerful that they caused pressure in the air. The kicks were also powerful. They could cut through the winds. But in the midst of all this, Dark Goku didn't care about the blows. He managed to block them calmly. Then Dark Goku starts to fight back the blows of Whis that until now is only defending itself. Dark Goku retaliates with some unsuccessful punches because Whis didn't give gaps in his defense. So he keeps attacking until finally he lands a punch in Whis' stomach. The blow was so powerful that Whis instantly spits blood. Then Dark Goku continues to attack Whis, who feels Dark Goku's blows a lot. Whis will just be thrown to the ground that opens a huge crater. And quickly Dark Goku grabs him by the hair and starts giving Whis several kicks. At this time, Whis says, I'm sorry, Mr. Beerus. I couldn't. He's almost lifeless. He feels a tear run down his face. Then Dark Goku throws him to the side and says, was that all? Is that all you've got, Whis? Your powers don't compare to mine. When Goku sees that Whis was on the ground, he becomes enraged and his body begins to change. Goku transforms into Goku Omni again and goes towards Whis, picking him up. And he says, Mr. Whis, how are you? Oh, you're not good. Whis, who could barely move, says, I couldn't defeat him. Lord Goku. Goku then says, no, don't worry. It ends here. Goku puts Whis down again and goes on top of Dark Goku. And he starts shooting blasts of ki at his sunset that doesn't even bother to move. Goku uses his speed and continues shooting his ki spheres. And he goes towards Dark Goku, and as he approaches, he stretches his arm back and punches Dark Goku's face very hard. And at that time, Dark Goku is thrown away, destroying several mountains behind him. When recovering, Dark Goku sees that Goku is not joking around, so in battle position, he prepares to attack Goku. Upon going up to Goku, he starts throwing punches and grabs Goku by his feet and throws him away, making Goku fall on Whis, who is lying on the ground, almost lifeless. Goku quickly gets up and concentrates his ki and goes to his second Omni transformation. At this time, Goku goes up to Dark Goku and surprises him by launching a ki blast that doesn't even come close to hitting him. So Dark Goku says, what was that? I wasn't even close. I guess it was supposed to hit. I'm afraid you'll have to improve your marksmanship. Then Goku smiling says, don't be in a hurry. I have time to finish you off. Dark Goku, when enraged, goes on top of Goku with a frightening pressure. Every step Dark Goku took, the floor under his feet cracked a little. When getting extremely close to Goku, he prepares to fire his attack that would end Beerus' life. With a somber tone, he says, Hakai. Quickly, Goku does the same and says, Hakai! With the powers in collision, we see Dark Goku and Goku tries to hit each other. Dark Goku, who had just learned to use this technique, does not have enough control, so he loses control and is hit by Goku's power. Upon getting extremely injured, Dark Goku says, "This is not over!" Then he opens a portal and picks up his fallen companions and disappear.
Goku advanced through the palace of the God of Destruction of Universe 11. Meanwhile, on Planet of Destruction in Universe 7, Beerus began to analyze everything that was happening. At that moment, Vegeta had teleported himself to the Planet of Destruction and was still carrying out training alongside Whis. At that moment, Vegeta says,
"It's been a long time since Kakarot ended up leaving here. Does that mean he managed to get Beerus into a trap? Looks like things are going to get a lot more complicated around here, Mr. Whis. I don't know who is really right, but the God of Destruction decided to attack Kakarot, and Kakarot did nothing for them."
Whis starts talking. "I understand, Mr. Vegeta, but it seems that the gods of destruction begin to have a vision of the oracle fish that a Saiyan could destroy everything in the future. They made an association that would be Mr. Goku, since because of him the Tournament of Power took place. That Tournament of Power caused great catastrophes and had great concern with everything that would happen. Mr. Goku managed to get stronger and stronger. He even managed to defeat Moro. Moro, the one who was a supreme being who had already finished and destroyed everyone. That devourer of words, just like a god of destruction, Moro just swallowed planets, while the gods of destruction eradicated them. Now he wanted to overcome a god of destruction. He managed to raise his strength more and more until the moment he reached extremely scrupulous levels. But that wasn't enough for Son Goku. Son Goku managed to defeat him. Over time, we saw that Granola and Gas had requested to the dragons of their universes for them to become the most powerful beings in the universe. Even so, Lord Vegeta, you, alongside Goku, managed to become more and more powerful. Don't you find that a bit strange?" Vegeta begins to reflect. At that moment, a loud bang starts to appear. On the Planet of Destruction, Vegeta starts to watch and says,
"What is this?"
At that moment, Whis starts to laugh and says, "It seems like he's finally breaking free." A large crater opens on the Planet of Destruction, and at that moment, a large temporal rift opens in the sky. From this temporal rift, a transition of time and space appears, and who appears is Beerus, the Destroyer. And he says,
"Damn it, Son Goku! How dare you trap me in this empty dimension! I will destroy you!"
Beerus had gotten loose. At that moment, Vegeta starts to observe and says,
"Does it mean that Kakarot was able to trap Mr. Beerus the Destroyer in that empty dimension? This really is something unreal. Looks like things are going to be more complicated now. But Mr. Beerus certainly didn't want to kill Kakarot. If he used his Supreme Hakai form, he certainly knew what he could reach. He got his highest level."
Beerus begins to observe and speaks.
"Well, Whis, are you getting another Saiyan here?"
Whis responds, "Mr. Beerus, I don't understand you. After all, you were Mr. Vegeta's real trainer. He learned Ultra Ego from you." At that moment, Beerus starts to reflect and says,
"Why am I doing this? I cannot understand. After I decided to make the decision with the gods, everything seems to go crazy."
Beerus speaks.
"Vegeta, get off this planet! I have nothing against you!"
At that moment, Vegeta starts to laugh and says,
"If Kakarot managed to trap you in another dimension, I will be able to do that too. After all, I am more powerful than that worm. I want to test my powers."
At that moment, Whis starts to laugh and says, "It looks like Beerus, the Destroyer of Universe 7, is being underestimated by more mortals. I think you shouldn't have fallen into that trap, Mr. Beerus." At that moment, Beerus observes and activates his Supreme Hakai form and teleports himself in front of Vegeta with a face of who is going to perform the Hakai and says,
Vegeta, don't you dare try to face me again. Today I confess to you that I'm not in my best days. I'm already reflecting on the decisions of the gods of destruction. Maybe they're not the most correct. A time that I stopped directly in the empty dimension, could I understand what Goku must have gone through? Perhaps the decision to act before Goku has done something and blame the mortal before he has committed a crime becomes something wrong. That crazy Goku Black decided to cause all the destruction and make all that catastrophe. Being that he was Zamasu, as we learn of Zamasu's decisions for Trunks' future, we were able to finish him off in the present. But now, things are different. Goku is not wrong in the decision. That's why he fought against me without thinking of anything, without caring about anything. But I don't know. We don't know if Goku is turning to something good or bad. If it is something bad, then he is a target for all the gods of destruction. There are gods of destruction with weaker levels. But there are other gods who are stronger, more adulous. To get to them, things will be more intense. But now I can see. I can remember everything Goku did for those planets. All this time that I've been sleeping for 53 days. The Earth and every other universes pass through intense complications. Maybe it's time to return Goku a favor for what he did, without letting anything go unbalanced. I will train you one more time, Vegeta, and we will end this intrigue between the gods. Whoever it is, we are going to defeat the gods of destruction. Until the moment we find Goku in your journey.
Vegeta begins to observe and speaks.
That's the decision of the god of destruction of Universe 7.
Whis begins to observe and says,
It seems like there's a drawback to every god of destruction's decisions. Never imagined Beerus the Destroyer to be back against the gods of destruction for a mortal. Interesting.
Vegeta begins to be excited and says,
That's right. Now I will be able to test all my powers against the god of destruction.
At this moment on Universe 7, Goku walked through the next floor of the Palace of the Gods of Destruction Belmont. At this moment, Goku encounters himself with a known voice that says,
I was waiting for you, Son Goku, since the Tournament of Power.
At that moment, Toppo from Universe 11, the successor of the God of Destruction, was in front of Goku. Goku smiles and says, I could have imagined that you would be here, Toppo. A new battle is about to begin. With the two smiling, they prepare themselves to the fight. Goku had defeated Toppo. Goku's power level was increasing each time, and every time the Saiyans surpassed another stage in Belmont's palace, Goku knew that great challenges would still await for him. Goku begins to reflect. He's definitely waiting for me up there. There were several beings that faced. Even Toppo couldn't beat me. I keep asking myself, to what level can these guys reach? Is the god of destruction of this planet really that powerful? Before the Tournament of Power started, as far as I know, all the gods of destruction had fought against the Mr. Beerus. Even so, Mr. Beerus managed to leave with a certain advantage. After the Tournament of Power was announced, all the gods of destruction began to believe that the great catastrophe had occurred due to Universe 7's fault, mainly by me and my god of destruction, who were to blame for all this happening. At that moment on the planet of battles for Zenosama, all the gods of destruction challenged Beerus, and Beerus showed his mastery of Ultra Instinct and managed to fight against all the gods of destruction, something that all the gods of destruction had difficulty accomplishing. The god of destruction of Universe 7 proved to be very powerful by being able to perform the same power. Beerus, the Destroyer, for a short period of time managed to defeat all the gods of destruction, until the moment that had the outcome of his battle against the Mouse Kitela, god of destruction of Universe 4. The battle was easily interrupted by Daishinkan, At that moment, we had different information about the gods of destruction, as if several gods had just let Beerus win the fight, as if this was just a strategy to test the powers of the god of destruction of Universe 7. Was Belmont, the god of destruction from Universe 11, one of the gods who apparently just wanted to observe Beerus' fighting style? What was Belmont up to? Belmont's Palace of Destruction, Universe 11. Belmont was next to his servants and receives the news that Topo had been defeated. Belmont says,
So Topo was defeated by Goku! If only Jiren hadn't gone to an empty dimension to train to get stronger, I could let him take care of that! But by the looks of it, I'll have to resolve this all by myself surely!
At that moment, Belmo draws cards from his hands and begins to reflect and says, let's see the power my cards have for me today. At that moment, Belmo draws a card from his deck, and when he pulls the card, he sees the image of Beerus, the god of destruction of Universe 7, reflected. Belmo says,
Looks like this will be interesting.
Beerus' power manipulation card worked since when he fought in Xenosummer's tournament against the other gods of destruction. Now his powers will be momentarily mine. Until I finish this idiot of this mortal coming from your universe, Beerus. I'll be lending your powers. I remember we were so close to winning the Tournament of Power until the moment when Son Goku activated his Ultra Instinct Mastered and ended up winning the Tournament of Power with all those warriors right there. That was real daring against the gods. I would never be able to forgive someone who does something like that. Well, now I have the power to end them all. Observation. Belmont's powers, besides being very high as a god of destruction, they manage to get bigger in the moment he copies the enemy's movements in one of his cards. Belmont lets himself be defeated by Beerus just so to copy his movements with Kitala, the god of destruction of Universe 4. Belmont laughs. This will be your end, Son Goku! Goku continues walking in Belmont's palace and says,
This fight against Topo really got me tired.
Margarita says, Well, Son Goku. You did very well in every battle you had up till now. I was really impressed to see all the performance you achieved. Does that mean that your powers increase more and more according to your level of rage? This would be interesting. Managed to defeat Topo and even the wrath of Belmont. It seems that the challenges have come to an end. If I tell you that the next door you will find the room of the god of destruction, would you believe it? Goku gives Margarita a serious look and says, You're making a fool of me. Surely there's something behind it all. You're fooling me. And you can't do that. Margarita starts to laugh and responds, Of course I am. You didn't think it would be so easy to fight the great master Belmont, did you? But know that you don't have much to do. If you don't come this way, the only space you'll have to do is retreat. And if you backtrack, you will go back to the beginning of the Belmont's palace. You know, Son Goku, you can only go forward through that door. All you have to do is realize it. Soon after, Goku begins to reflect and says, She's right. I don't have much to run to. Not a choice. Just like you gods will pay. Goku walks to the next door and is faced with a gray room. Margarita appears and says, Son Goku, let's see how you do with this challenge. How far are you able to go? If you manage to pass this challenge, be aware that the next door is really where it leads to the God of Destruction room in the God of Destruction Belmont. But if you can't resist this challenge, well, your end will be stuck here because no one will ever be able to show up and save you. At that moment, Goku says,
Be quiet! I'll pass any obstacle. Just watch.
At that moment, Goku hears Beerus' voice.
Well.
No, again.
Well. Looks like you're here to fight me again, Son Goku. I'll turn you to cosmic dust now.
Shortly after, Romoshi's voice, the god of destruction from Universe 9.
Goku, you will now pay me! The fist of the god of destruction of Universe 9 is much more powerful!
Scared, Goku says.
What? It's impossible! Mr. Beerus, you were supposed to be in Universe 7! And this other god, I killed you! Damn it, what's going on here?
Up of the palace of the god of destruction of Universe 11. Belmont starts laughing and speaks.
Looks like my trap to Son Goku to revive the last warriors he fought came true! This will be spectacular! Now I will be able to see who will show their true power. It makes me realize more and more how amazing my skills are. I want to see you get out of that, Son Goku!
In the beginning, there was nothing. It was just darkness. In the beginning, there was nothing. It was just silence. In the beginning, there was nothing. It was just darkness. Until out of darkness came light. And it was good. From the silence came the sound, and it was good. And out of nowhere, there was the beginning of an infinite without end. And it was good. And from good came evil, so that there was balance. For without the shadows, there would be no light, and it was good. And so the universe was born. And thanks to that sovereign creator of everything, life was born. And with life, the story begins. And with just a breath of light, in the midst of vast darkness, a new universe, a new reality will be just born. And Goku, after losing everything he thought he could save, caused everything to be lost, and after ages, it made everything appear again. And now he was the sovereign of all. Or at least he thought he would be. In a newly created universe that did not even have a name, the supreme gods of the cosmos awakened. The eternal entities that exist and will always exist awakened from their longest slumber. Eternity, time, infinity, death, judgment, creation, reality, chaos, space. They all arise together with Zeno and his father, Hajimari Toawari, the beginning and end. These entities reappear in any universe that would just be born because they are infinite. Beyond our Goku, believed to be the only existing entity of this universe. And so everything begins, an infinite cycle where he will become a sovereign entity. And in that way, he decided to create something else. In the midst of the empty space, everything restarts and life begins again. Several planets and several species, several people appear, and then the most awaited planet, Earth, appears. Goku feels instant relief. But at this moment, it was not yet time to return. Meanwhile, the old gods begin to resurface. After the natural order of all creation had been changed, much time passed, and after the pillars of creation were rebuilt, Goku continues wandering through the vastness when suddenly the ancient gods appear in front of him. Time and creation and reality. At this moment, a dialogue begins. Time tells. You changed the time, and reality continues. You have altered reality and complete creation. You wanted to become the creator, and so we decided to punish you. And Goku says, where did you come from? After all, I deleted everything, and you could not exist. And so time tells. In another reality, we were sealed, but we are eternal and will always rise again, for we always exist. When you rebuild the universe, you set us free. You rebuild everything but the seal. You didn't know we existed, and there are many more. And that
was your mistake.
Reality then says, and now, you will be punished. The three ancient gods then raise their hands, and then at the same time, these eyes start to glow. And so they say, you came from dust, and to dust you will return, and then you will rise again, and everything will be rewritten. At this moment, Goku Beyonder looks at his hand and sees them dissolve into dust. Time then says, we can't take away their powers, but we'll put them to sleep. And you won't be a threat to us for now because we are sovereign. But one day, we will have to stop it. Time then tells, history regressed. Reality says, memories of whom were erased. So you don't remember the reality you built. Creation says, and I will recreate it for you to be reborn and one day see that we are above all. Goku Beyonder begins to crumble, becoming a dust of energy that travels through time and its glow fades. And at this very moment he is reborn. In the midst of a universe on a distant planet, a cry is heard. Kakarot was born. Kakarot is born on a planet called Planet Vegeta, the world of Saiyans, who is attacked by an evil monster called Frieza, the Emperor of the Universe. Kakarot inside a space capsule would be sent to a small blue planet called Earth, plus his father Bardock and his mother Gimme. They bid farewell to their little boy and send him ashore. The planet Vegeta is destroyed and becomes cosmic dusts. In Kakarot land, he is given the name of Goku. Gohan's grandson, Goku made many friends and lived many adventures. Some enemies became friends. He fought survivors from his home planet. He defeated the great evil emperor, faced many powerful androids. He fought demons, took care of his family, and his enemy children became friends. And history took its natural course, just as creation and destiny had written. But not everything would be so simple. Destiny saved something for that reality, and so the ancient gods reappear. Goku and his friends become Earth's defenders. On a certain day, a god wakes up and goes looking for a legend that the ancients were proud of. The story of a good being who got rid of evil, being who was called God, a Super Saiyan God. But at that moment, the differences begin to appear that God was no longer the great and powerful Beerus, but yes, one of the ancient gods. More specifically, it was called Judgment. The god who judged the worlds to know if that world would live or simply disappear. This god was extremely powerful and was accompanied by an angel called Whis. At this moment, in the present time, the god thought of going after Goku, who, as always, grew stronger. After all, Goku might know something about the Super Saiyan God. However, the god knew that the one who is called Son Goku was really strong, as he knew exactly where to find him. But before going in search of Goku, he decides to meet with his brothers, the ancient gods. All the gods gathered to decide if this is the right time to stop Goku, or they would have to wait a little longer. Palace of the Gods. In the confines of the universe, lost amidst of the darkness of the infinite immensity of the cosmos, a great hall is shown. In this hall, we can observe 12 thrones where the ancient sovereign gods of all universe were all gathered there. At that moment, reality speaks. Goku grew up to be extremely powerful. What should we do about it? Time responds. Is this the time to stop him? After all, he is the only threat to us. If he goes beyond her again, we could have problems. Chaos starts laughing and says, don't say such a thing. It will never be a threat. And if he goes back to what he was, we'll just have to beat him again. Reality responds. You really believe it would be that simple? We couldn't even get rid of him. After all, in a way, he's great creator of everything. Space then starts to say, brothers, calm down. None of this is such a serious problem. We just need to let him know that we are the sovereigns of everything. And right now, he's not strong enough to stop us now. At that time, the mood changes as Infinity adds an important point to the question when saying,
Brothers, you all know we've made his powers lie dormant, but all the powers he possesses are a portion of ourselves, the 12 ancient gods. So the probability that if we face him, he can recover everything we took from him, and remember, that would be a very high risk, don't you know?
Chaos pronounced at that moment and say, "There's only one thing we can do, brothers."
Everyone watches closely to know what Chaos plan he imagined.
And he continues, "We must send someone who can test it, and then we will know whether to act or wait. However, it has the possibility that he will be killed by whoever we sent. And so already in the book stories of the problem at once, creation then begins to say,
But who shall we send? Or will any of us face it?
Chaos responds, "Don't worry, I have a plan. We can use our power to create someone. We can create an entity that has parts of our powers. That way we'll have the perfect minion."
Everyone agrees and decides to go along with the plan. And at this moment, everyone looks towards the center of the hall. A great energy begins to emanate, and everyone points to the middle of the room using their index finger. An intense glow takes care of everything, and from the middle of the night, a being appears. Possessors of all energy, the union of all gods create the one who's destined to face Goku, and decides that what his identity would be. A being of light had been created, a pure soul without wanting to know how to distinguish between evil and good. At that moment, we see the appearance of that being. A young appearance with a thin body, dark skin, and dark hair. A being of light and energy who had in his hands the fate of Goku or the fate of the ancient gods themselves. A new reality, a new universe. Goku and the others are gathering on Earth, celebrating Bulma's birthday. Goku is looking forward to training with Vegeta and the others, but Chi-Chi and Bulma are irritated because Vegeta and Goku only know how to train and don't care about anything else. Everyone is happy and everything is at peace, but in the supreme realm of the ancient gods, they were still gathered and finished creating the Great Warrior with the intention of going after Goku. Chaos laughs.
Finally, here is the most powerful warrior. He will show us the king's powers of Goku this time, and everything will be much easier.
Reality says, Don't be so happy, Chaos. After all, he can be defeated.
Chaos responds, "It is impossible. Our creation is perfect."
Back on planet Earth, everyone is celebrating curling with his daughter, and number 18 was admiring. Bulma would draw as a prize for a bingo she had prepared. The television was on and some programs were playing. Number 18 says, "Curling, look at the size of this television. Must be about 300 inches. Curling responds, "It's a movie screen." At this moment, they are interrupted because something interesting starts to show on the television. An announcement of a martial arts tournament celebrating 5 years since the great hero of Earth, Mr. Satan, defeated the great Majin Buu. The narrator says, "After 5 years that the great Mr. Satan saved us from the evil wizard Babidi and the demon Majin Buu, the country's government is organizing a great martial arts tournament with the most powerful warriors on the planet." At this moment, Goku and the others gather around the television. They were extremely happy with the ad. Goku at that moment says, "Wow, what an amazing tournament! I haven't fought in a tournament in a long time. I will definitely participate." Goku then asks Krillin, "And Krillin, you're going to participate too, right?" Krillin says, Goku, if number 18 doesn't mind, I will." At this moment, the television narrator says, "The winner of the tournament will win an incredible 5 million yen prize." At this moment, ecstatic with the value of the prize, number 18, she holds Krillin's shoulders and says, "But of course you're going to go, Krillin." The narrator goes on to say, "No age or gender limit for participants. And the finalists will face the great Mr. Satan to try to win the title of world champion." At this moment, Mr. Satan enters the scene, taking the narrator's microphone and says,
"That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you'll have to face the great world champion. And even if they are defeated by me, they will still receive a prize worth 2 million yen.
Everyone is excited, and all the Z Warriors that are there decide to participate. Gohan next to Videl tells her, "Videl, So that was the important announcement that her father said he had to make today. She answers, yes, that's why he couldn't come with us. Chi-Chi gets irritated because she knows that now Goku will only care about training until the day of the tournament. In the realm of the ancient gods, the gods continue to argue. Creation says, now we already have a warrior, but how will we do it? We will ship it right away. And then for the first time, the goddess of death speaks up and says, from what I see on the planet where Goku is, it will be a martial arts tournament in 10 days. We could send him to Earth and have him participate, and he ends up facing Goku at some point. And it will be quite fun to follow a mortal tournament, don't you think? Everyone agrees, and it's decided. Meanwhile, we can see near the table where the two gigantic cubes are gathered. At that instant, Judgment says,
what are we going to do with those two over there in the meantime?
While pointing to the cube. Space then responds, those are Zeno-sama and his father. They didn't agree with our ideals and we had to arrest them. We can keep them that way until we manage to kill Son Goku. Then we got rid of them too. Order, the god who had the need to keep everything in its place, says, we have already resolved several issues, but there's one more. Judgment questions, which is? And she responds, what name are we going to give our champion? Everyone starts to reflect while looking at the being standing in front of them in silence. A few minutes go by and they can't decide until Creation has an idea and says, brothers, we all pulled our powers to create it. We made a pure being that contains part of each of us. So I think it would be more correct to call it Danketsu, which means union. That is, we all come together to create something that is capable of achieving our goals. What do you think? Everyone likes the name and agrees with the idea. So reality says, approach, Danketsu. He starts to approach. When it gets to him, he says, we created you, and you will have a mission. And you are the only one who can fulfill this mission, which is to annihilate Beyonder Goku. Back on Earth, everyone is excited because it's been a long time since there was a martial arts tournament. Even Goten and Trunks decide to participate. Vegeta accepts as it is the chance to defeat Goku and Piccolo. Gohan is excited and even Videl is feeling like being part of it. But right now she can't because she's pregnant and expecting Gohan's baby. Videl gets sad and says, I wanted to participate too, but everyone is going and I won't be able to go because I'm pregnant. Gohan says, don't worry my love, you will be able to cheer for me and be with me all the time. It won't be the same, but it will be amazing. I can't wait to fight again. Everyone is happy, but there are still 10 days left for the tournament to start, so they decide to train to be prepared for the fights. Gohan asks Piccolo if he wants to train with him, but Piccolo responds,
Gohan, this time we can be enemies in the tournament, so I think we better train alone.
Goku then says, Gohan, I don't see a problem with having someone to train with. Why do you think about training together? It's been a long time since you and I spent time together. Gohan smiles and replies, of course, Dad. It will be amazing. Let's try our best. Vegeta says to Bulma,
hey Bulma, I'm going to train alone somewhere. Maybe I'll take a few days to get back.
Bulma then responds, of course, Vegeta. You always do that and leave your beautiful wife here all alone. Vegeta is embarrassed with flushed cheek and flies off at high speed. Krillin and number 18 are going to train together. Trunks and Goten start training right there. Piccolo says goodbye and also leaves. All the warriors who will participate decide to train immediately. Bulma is sad and Chi-Chi approaches her. Both of them are downcast. And Bulma says, everyone left and forgot it's my birthday. Chi-Chi answers, yeah, they're like that. They always leave us to go train. In Mr. Satan's house, the great hero of the earth is hiding under the bed, shaking with fear. The kind Boo who was with him pulls him by the legs and asks, what happened, Mr. Satan? And Mr. Satan says,
this tournament, I'm sure Goku and the others will participate in it. I don't want to fight them.
Majin Buu then says, don't worry, I will too. This way I will defeat them all, and when I fight, I can let you win. Mr. Satan is happy, gives Majin Buu a big hug, who smiles and says, Blood Satan, now I'm hungry. Mr. Satan runs from one side to the other saying,
calm down, Mr. Buu, I'll get you something delicious.
Gohan and Goku arrive at an island located in the northern region of the mountains and decide that there's a good place to train. And they decide to start right away. But Goku looks at Gohan and says, son, it's been a while since we faced each other, but don't go thinking I'll hold back. Gohan says, of course, Dad. Come with full strength. At this moment, the two take a deep breath, close their eyes and clench their fists. Goku opens his eyes and says to Gohan, "Now!" Gohan responds, "Come!" The two transform into Super Saiyans and the battle will begin.
Gohan and Goku are transformed into Super Saiyans, one in front of the other, ready to start their fight. At this moment, Goku is really impressed. It has been a long time since he had faced Gohan in a fight, and he wanted to see how strong his son had become. Goku is the first to attack and goes towards Gohan with everything he's got. Gohan dodges, but still gets hit by a kick from Goku that makes him stagger. Gohan looks at Goku and says, "Dad, you really are incredibly powerful. I don't know if I can beat you, but I know I can hit you." Gohan closes his fist and throws an incredible punch. Goku dodges and then receives a sharp kick that throws him away. The battle is starting to get interesting though. In another corner of the planet, Vegeta is alone in his training. Vegeta concentrates his ki and begins to transform into a Super Saiyan. He starts delivering several blows in the air, hitting a rock, which disintegrates. Then Vegeta says,
I can't lose to Kakarot. I need to get stronger.
everyone is training hard. The Z Warriors were looking towards to the tournament that took place in 9 days. Caroline is training when suddenly number 18 arrives and says, "Caroline, I bought you some juice. Come and freshen up. You're training so hard." Caroline goes to number 18 and takes the juice and says, "Oh my, this juice is wonderful." 18 says, "Yes, I made it especially for you." And with a death glare, she says, "If I lose the tournament prize after I gave up winning the television at Bulma's house, I'll kill you." Caroline in panic's response, "No, my love, I'm going to win. You'll see." So Caroline goes back to training. Meanwhile, in the palace of the ancient gods, time is questioning. "My brothers and sisters, it is no longer time to send our warrior to Earth. Because there on Earth, there are only 9 days left to start the tournament." In that instant, Chaos responds,
I would have already sent him and he wouldn't even have to go through this tournament, you idiots.
So Reality says, "I already warned you that he can lose. Be realistic. My brothers tells the time. Call up my brothers. Our warrior is ready to go." At that moment, Danketsu says, "I will not let them down. I will defeat this Beyonder Goku." At that moment, the ancient gods put their hands towards Danketsu. A strong light begins to emerge, and Danketsu is slowly teleported to the planet Earth. Arriving on planet Earth, Danketsu is surprised, as he has never seen such beautiful planet before. Danketsu is impressed with the place. Then he begins to wonder why the ancient gods want the destruction of the being from this place. He shakes his head and starts to say, "I need to stay focused. My masters gave me an order." And at that moment, he passes by a coffee shop and stops because he had never seen or smelled anything like that before. He stops and looks at what would be a cupcake. When he don't, he observes that Vidal leaves the cafeteria, and she passes by him and notices that he is standing there watching things. Then Vidal goes on and says, "Hey, how's it going?" Danketsu answers, "Yeah, I'm just admiring how perfect everything here seems to be." So Vidal says, "Do you want to taste something from around here?" And then he says, "Yes," and points to a muffin. Vidal invites him for coffee and then spends hours talking. In the meantime, we're back to training the Z Warriors. Goku and Gohan continue to fight an intense and arduous battle. Goku pummels his son with several punches and kicks Gohan counterattacks using his speed to distract Goku, who is impressed and says, "Gohan, my son, congratulations, you're really strong. You don't even look like it, but my little boy, you're strong." Gohan smiles and continues to fight as he doesn't want to lose to his father. Then Gohan stops in the air and asks, "Dad, you know, Dad, having a child makes life so different." Goku then responds, "Yeah, Chichi was also strange when very hungry though. Then her belly started to get huge, and when I least expected it, she started screaming, and then I heard you cry." And that was my experience. Gohan is horrified by what happened to his father and begins to think about Vidal. On the other side of the planet, in the cafeteria, Vidal sneezes, looks around, and says, "Someone's talking about me." Then she smiles. Dunketsu doesn't understand why she sneezed and said someone was talking about her, so he asks, Videl, you can hear what people say from around the world? Videl responds, it's more than that, and of course not. It's just an expression we use when we sneeze. Videl says goodbye and says she needs to go, but if he wants to meet her tomorrow, she would be there too. She walks away and then leaves. So Dunketsu questions the old gods. My lords, why do you want destruction? The beings on this planet are not so strong and it doesn't even seem like a threat to our majesties. At this moment he hears a voice. You have duties on earth. Fulfill them and you will be well rewarded. He goes to the big arena where the tournament will take place and registers. At this time, he's faced with Mr. Satan and Mr. Boo. And he sees Mr. Satan walking with his hat down and says, what a bummer. I could wipe out all these warriors right now. Mr. Boo answers, more Mr. Satan, weren't you just shaking and hiding? Mr. Satan answers, but of course not. I was just, training a new power. When Dunketsu passes through it and a very powerful energy hangs in the air, Mr. Satan feels oppressed by that pressure. When Dunketsu passes through them, a very powerful energy hangs in the air. Mr. Satan feels oppressed by that pressure and hides behind Boo. Then asks, what is your name? Dunketsu says, it doesn't matter. I hear what you said, and I'd love to beat you up in the tournament. Mr. Satan, tremendous, responds, I'll be waiting for you there. So Dunketsu continues on his way, and Mr. Satan, tremendous, says to Boo, will you help me? Mr. Boo, please help me. At that moment, Boo looks from the corner of Mr. Satan and answers more, and of course, I already told you that I would defeat everyone and let you defeat me with just one punch. Mr. Satan feels relieved and finally manages to breathe normally. Meanwhile, in Piccolo's training, he continues to concentrate and meditate. He thinks, I need to improve my Makanko Sapo technique. It's not complete yet. I need to improve this technique. I want to surprise everyone, especially Gohan. Krillin manages to hone his most powerful attack, Kienzan. Number 18, seeing Krillin's effort, says, he has a chance to win. I will finally have a television bigger than Bulma's. Tenshinhan is full steam ahead training when he comes across an unusual being. He comes across Dunketsu and says, You have a strange presence. Dunketsu looks at that being and sees that he also has an unusual power. And he says, where are you from? Sometimes I feel a little confused. But more accurately, I'm going to ask you, what is your name? Shihan answers his name. And Dunketsu continues to say, you're not who I'm looking for. You know, a Goku guy? I don't know if it's right, but I need to destroy him. Tenshinhan then starts to say, you're a very strange being. I don't know if you're good or bad, but if you want to destroy one of my friends, I'll have to stop you. Dunketsu answers, maybe I can fight you and put an end to my boredom. And so he goes to attack Tenshinhan. Then he releases all his energy made by the union of all the old gods. Tenshinhan jumps in the air and flies away from there because the pressure of those powers is impressive and he wouldn't stand a chance. So Tenshinhan goes to Goku's house. He arrives there and doesn't find anyone. At that moment, he sees Bulma washing the dishes and asks, Bulma? No, it's Chi-Chi, bro. At that moment, he sees Chi-Chi washing the dishes and asks, Chi-Chi, where's Goku? Chi-Chi responds, I don't know. He's training with Gohan. He doesn't even remember that he exists. Chi-Chi keeps saying, he went over there, and points to the side towards Tenshinhan, who immediately flies away. He finds Goku and Gohan training and says, Goku, I need to talk to you. Goku loses concentration and takes a kick from Gohan that sends him flying towards the ground, making a hole where he had been thrown. At that time, Gohan sees and asks, Dad, are you okay? Did I hurt you? Goku smiling responds, No, Gohan, I just lost my concentration a little bit. Wait just a second. No, Gohan, I just lost my concentration a little bit. Just wait here. We'll continue fighting later. Goku uses his teleportation and goes to Tenshinhan and says, What happened, Tenshinhan? The terrified Tenshinhan says, I found a very powerful being that didn't seem to be from this planet. He almost faced me, but I ran away from it. And from the looks of it, to me, he has no sense of right or wrong. He just had a bewildered and cold look. That being's very powerful, Goku. Maybe we'll have problems with him on the loose out here. Goku calmly responds, There, Tenshinhan. If he causes problems, we'll fix it, okay? Now there are only 8 days left for the tournament. Dunkitsu, who had been sent to Earth in order to participate in Mr. Satan's tournament, and so to test what Goku's strengths are, he found himself in a dilemma. He didn't know if he was a good or evil being. He didn't know if it should be good or bad. Dunkitsu had a pure soul, but he had many doubts in his mind. At that moment, we can observe Dunkitsu on a busy street in a northwest region of the country in a gigantic and populous city. In this city, the great tournament would take place. That moment, very strong winds begins to emerge. Sky darkens, clouds begin to form. A big storm is about to start. Many people pass from one side to the other in a hurry, some covering their heads with something they held in their hands, others with umbrellas, and the raindrops begins to fall. Dunkitsu runs to a corner of the street where he tries to hide under the balcony of an establishment that had 2 floors, having a small balcony where Dunkitsu sits while he sees several people walking around him. He notices that he's ignored most of the time. Dunkitsu just watches as everyone passes him. Meanwhile, on the other side of the country, Gohan, Tenshinhan, and Goku finish their training and head back to Goku's house so they can have something to eat. After all, Goku was hungry. Gohan asks Tenshinhan, "Did the weird guy you talked about seem to be strong?" Tenshinhan answers, "I can't say, I couldn't feel his ki, but his presence was very weird." Goku starts to say, "Oh, that's amazing. I mean, even if you couldn't fight him, but still, that's amazing." Tenshinhan says, "Man, I couldn't face him at all. Just the presence he had made me want to run away." Goku is impressed and extremely curious to meet that being. And at that moment, Goku says, "I hope he participates in the tournament then. I can't wait to fight him." Gohan and Tenshinhan looks at Goku and both smile. After all, Goku never changes. And always a battle freak. Meanwhile, Dunkitsu is still sitting in the rain on that cold and lonely sidewalk. Everyone who passes ignores him. Everyone who passes pretends not to see him. Dunkitsu keeps his head down, listening to the sound of cars passing by, watching people treating him like it's nothing. Suddenly a child, a small homeless person with a newspaper on his head trying to avoid the rain, approaches and says, "Hey, what are you doing here, mister? If it continues to rain, you'll get sick." Dunkitsu just gets curious and doesn't say anything. But the boy reaches down and takes his hand, and he says, "You don't have anywhere to go either, do you? Come with me then, we can help." The little boy with torn clothes, barefoot, and with a dirty face pulls Dunkitsu by the arm and starts walking Dunkitsu, and he doesn't understand very well, but starts to follow the boy. The two run to an alley where there was a large cover made with some wood and old tiles, and when they go under, they can see a hole in the wall. The boy says to Dunkitsu, "You can come, it's safe." And Dunkitsu follows him as he enters the hole. The two find themselves inside an old shed with cobwebs again. And Dunkitsu follows him as he enters the hole. The two find themselves inside an old shed with cobwebs, several broken machines with some leaks and some wet places due to the rain. The little boy says, "Hey, my name is Raito, and you can enter here for a while." Dunkitsu says, "But do you live here?" My name is Dunkitsu. Why did you bring me here?" Raito says, "Oh, you were out in the rain, and so I thought you might get sick, so I decided to help." Dunkitsu is confused and responds, "But why?" "Because you didn't ignore me like everyone else." And the boy says with a smile on his face, "But why? Why you didn't ignore me like everyone else?" And the boy says with a smile on his face, "It's because I know what it's like to be out on the street alone, and I thought maybe you needed some help, so I decided to help. I live here with my brother and sister. Well, we're not exactly brothers, but they help me, and they'll help you too." Dunketsu asks, where are they? And Raito responds, they must be scared and they hide. No. They must be scared and they hid. They're not used to seeing someone different coming here. At this time, Raito screams, "Hey, Nozomi! They can leave! It's cool!" Dunketsu looks around and sees a boy and a girl Dunketsu looks around and sees a boy and a girl emerging from under a shadow cast by a pillar. And the two say, nice to meet you, young man. Heiwa approaches with a piece of bread and says, you want it? You must be hungry. It's not much, but it will help. You can eat. You can eat with me, and my brother already ate a little, so... Dunketsu's eyes glisten when he sees this, and he accepts the bread. The three sit on some pieces of cardboard and start talking. It seems that the weather starts to get cold due to the rain, and the children starts to shiver. Raito says, don't worry, when the rain stops, it'll be warmer, and then we can find some food. Dunketsu looks at the keys and starts looking around. He gathers some scraps of old wood and paper, and in a safe place over there, next to them, he makes a pile of those things he has gathered. Dunketsu brings his hands together, looks at the stacked woods, and then places his hands on top of them. And in moments, a small spark starts to stand out. It starts to catch fire, and a small bonfire is created. And the children look at it with eyes full of joy. And Raito questions, are you a magician too? That's amazing! And Dunketsu responds, I don't know, but I think so. The children approach the fire to warm up, and Nozomi was holding a flyer for a store with some food and stamped doses. And Dunketsu asks, what is that? And the boy answers, it's just a few things to eat that I promised them, and as soon as the rain stops, I'll try to get them somehow. Dunketsu takes the flyer and places it on the floor on top of the sheet of cardboard. And he repeats the gesture of before, and in moments a small curtain of colored smoke appears in the midst of a glow, and when the smoke dissipates we can see a feast in front of them, with all the foods that were on the flyer. Children get extremely euphoric, asking, how did you do that? Where did all that food came from? Dunketsu answers, you can eat. And the children are extremely happy. At this moment, we can see Vegeta, who falls to the ground on his knees and begins to undo his transformation. Vegeta says,
Finally! I finally got over you, Kakarot!
Elsewhere, we can see Krillin and 18 training together. And in the frozen mountains, we can see Piccolo, who is meditating. Goku, Gohan, and Tenshinhan arrive at Goku's house and are greeted by Trunks and Chi-Chi, who had already prepared a feast. Everyone eats and decides to take some time to rest. They go to the top of the mountain and stay close to the edge, watching everything. Several animals, trees, rivers could be seen from there. They lie down and look at the sky. Suddenly, Goku says to Gohan, son, these days I had a strange dream. I dreamed that I had become a god, and my powers were greater than anything we've ever seen before, and in this dream my hair was red. Everyone looks with a face of astonishment. Apparently Goku started having some flash of his previous life. Goku continues to say, I think it was just a silly dream, but I will train and work hard. Maybe I can raise my power to that level. Gohan looks without reaction. After all, he had no idea what Goku was talking about. Meanwhile, in the kingdom of the ancient gods, everyone was waiting anxiously for the tournament. After all, it would be in this tournament that they would find out if Dunketsu would be able to face Goku. The gods then make a big decision. Chaos then says, brothers, is it decided? Will we see the big tournament in person? Space then responds, yes. We will have humans' forms, and we will be able to follow everything closely. Don't you agree? Everyone watches and simply say yes. The great ancient gods decide that they will assume human forms so that they can see the tournament live. Things begins to unravel, and the tournament will soon begin. Only 5 Only 5 days left for the tournament. Dunketsu had found kindness in those children who helped them. The 4 were there in that shed and finished eating. Dunketsu looks at Raito and asks, "Why do you live in this place?" Raito then tells a bit of his story, and a flashback begins.
When I was little, I lived with my mother, who did everything to take care of me. But we lived alone, and my father, well, I don't know who my father is. My mother used to tell me that he was long gone, so I never met him.
Wright was poor boy who lived in a city where people didn't care much about those who didn't have money. Raito had a difficult life, having to help his mother to take care of the house and work from an early age. Raito's mother worked in the rice fields. When she left for work, she always left Raito around. She would take him so he wouldn't have to be alone, so she would work and stay with him, moving him around. And when she arrived exhausted from work, she still took care of the house and her son. That sweet, struggling woman who did everything for her son had lost her husband in an accident, where the criminal had committed a robbery. They fled, and while the two crossed the street near an alley, they lost control of the car, thus running over. Since then, she had to take care of Raito on her own. And when Raito asked what happened to his father, she preferred to say that he was long gone after all. She didn't have the courage to tell the truth. However, with the passage of time, Raito had already managed to discover the truth, and so he didn't say anything to his mother because he didn't want to see her sad. One day, the tiredness was unbearable, and that woman's destiny was set. She had got a new job where she could go back to living a normal life. Having a normal life. But in this work, she could not take Raito, and she would have to leave him alone. And as difficult as that decision was, she decides that she needed to become someone different with conditions to be able to help her son. However, the next day, while she was working and having Raito alone at home, she was robbed. And after saying that she had no money and that she needed to leave, she ended up getting shot. That took her life. This way, Raito ended up alone for quite a while. Until one day, while he was hungry, he decided to steal food so he could eat. But unfortunately, Raito wasn't very good at stealing. Until one fateful moment, he was caught stealing some fruit. And it was at this moment that Raito was in trouble. The owner of the grocery store that Raito was robbing called 2 bigger boys to take care of the matter. Those young people take Raito to an alley where they intended to beat him up so he never steals again. But after throwing Raito on top of several garbage bags, the boy intend to finish him off by beating him until he learns his lesson. At this moment, the young people throw him against the wall. One of the boys picks up an iron bar that was lying there on the floor, and the other holds Raito against the wall, stretching his arm, and then says, "Now you will learn never to steal again." I will hit his arm until he falls. And when the boy was about to strike the first blow, the boy takes a stone to the head. The other holding Raito stops and watches, while feeling a trash thrown at him, hitting him directly. 2 other street children, Heiwa, Nozomi, saved him and decides to accompany them. And in this way, they started to be like brothers. Heiwa, Nozomi had been street kids for a long time as they could remember, and didn't have a glorious or adventurous story to tell. They stole food to survive, and when they were paid, they fled to another place. Until one day, Raito and his friends decided that they shouldn't steal even if they were starving. They would always try to work through whatever it was, so they could take care of each other. Until the 3 found a poor community in that city, where they could always find leftover food or old clothes thrown in the trash. And in this way, they survived until now. Dunketsu, hearing the story, feels a tear run down his face. Then he looks at Raito and says, "I don't know what this is, but my chest feels weird. There's something stuck in my throat, and my eyes are leaking. What's happening to me?" Raito then responds by saying,
You're crying. That's the feeling when you're sad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you sad.
Dunketsu replies, "I don't even know what's happening to me. I just know it hurts a lot." Raito says,
Don't worry, we're fine. No need to be sad. I found the brother and sister that life gave me. This is my family, and this is my home. And when I grow up, I will be able to work and take care of them.
Meanwhile, far away, Piccolo decides to train nearer the sea. At that time, Piccolo decides to train a fighting move. He had to improve his combat skills, so Piccolo takes it and drops it to the ground and starts delivering several blows. However, it is difficult to train in a melee battle without an opponent. At that time, Piccolo misses Gohan and says,
I should have agreed to train with him.
Elsewhere, we see Vegeta returning to training for the tournament. Vegeta is training hard, and he feels that he's becoming more powerful than Goku. Vegeta says,
Now yes, Kakarot, your powers don't even compare to mine.
Vegeta shows off his fist and raises towards his face and says,
I will defeat you, Kakarot. You'll see.
So Vegeta continues his training. He concentrates his ki and manages to pass to his Saiyan transformation. He continues to focus his ki and transitions into his second transformation. And he starts laughing.
Kakarot, I will defeat you and prove that I'm more stronger than you.
While we see Goten and Trunks training, trying to improve their fusion. At this time, with the fusion done, they intend to keep it in Super Saiyan 3 longer. At this time, the boys start to get irritated and think it would never work. So Goten says,
Trunks, let's try it again. We have to get strong to do our best in this tournament.
So they get ready and start to concentrate and start the steps again and finally get the perfect fusion. And right now, the two begin to celebrate and say,
We finally made it! Now we can win!
Meanwhile, number 18 and Krillin's training is getting more and more intense. Number 18 says,
Krillin, come at me with everything you've got.
So Krillin answers,
Are you sure, sweetie? I don't want to have to hurt you.
Number 18, embarrassed, says,
You will never hurt me, baby.
Then Krillin goes towards number 18, shooting some spheres of ki. Number 18 manages to dodge it all. The smoke clears. She sees Krillin in front of her with a blow that hits her on the cheek, and soon after then, he takes it and delivers a Kienzan. Number 18 quickly dodges Krillin's attacks and fights back. She hits him with several kicks and blows. So she takes Krillin and throws him away against a rock, and then with her speed she catches up with him and starts shooting several blows. At this time, Krillin and number 18 are fighting an incredible fight, but number 18, who has more strength than Krillin, hits him in the face with a punch that makes him dizzy. So Android 18 says,
That's enough, my love. Let's go home. That's good for today.
Krillin agrees with number 18 and the two go home. So we can see not very confident Mr. Satan, who is worried, and now. So we can see a not very confident Mr. Satan, who is worried, as now there are only 4 days left for the tournament. Mr. Satan says,
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! Boo, I'm going to die! I know, Boo! I will give up! There's still time!
At that time, Boo responds,
No, Mr. Satan, you cannot cancel the tournament. I already told you. I'll let you win.
Anguished because now there are only 4 days left for the tournament, everyone is anxious and training hard for the big day. To be continued. Will the Z Warriors be able to complete their training? What is Danketsu going to do now that he got new friends? Regardless of what it is more than important that you already expose it here in your comments so that we can enter into that crazy debate. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. And that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.